The American dream is supposed to be simple, right? Work hard, save up, buy a house, build a life. But in 2025, that dream has become a twisted joke, a financial nightmare wrapped in the promise of homeownership. We're living through the greatest wealth transfer in modern history, and it's happening right under our noses through the housing market. I've spent months diving deep into the latest data, and what I found will shock you. There are 10 states in America where buying a home isn't just expensive anymore. It's become a luxury reserved for the financial elite. These aren't just high prices we're talking about. These are mathematically impossible markets where the numbers simply don't add up for regular working families. If you've been house hunting lately and felt like the entire system is rigged against you, you're absolutely right. Like this video if you're ready for some brutal honesty about what's really happening in American real estate. Because what we're about to uncover isn't just about housing. It's about the systematic destruction of middle-class wealth. Let's start our journey through financial hell with number 10, Idaho. Picture this. You drive into Boise on a crisp autumn morning. The Sawtooth Mountains rise in the distance like something from a postcard. Clean streets, friendly faces, that authentic small-town American vibe that makes you believe in second chances. This was ground zero for the great pandemic exodus. Millions of remote workers looked at Idaho and saw salvation, a place where their California salaries could buy them the good life. But here's the thing about gold rushes. They always end the same way, with regular people holding the bag. The numbers from mid-2025 tell a devastating story. The typical home in Ada County now costs $549,900. Let me put that in perspective for you. We're talking about Idaho, a state where the median household income is $88,900. To afford that median-priced home, you need to earn $141,000 annually. That's not a gap between income and housing costs. That's a financial Grand Canyon. What we're witnessing is economic colonization. Wealthy out-of-state buyers flooded in with equity from expensive markets, treating local real estate like a clearance sale. Meanwhile, entire generations of Idaho natives are watching their hometowns transform into exclusive resorts they can't afford to live in. The market is starting to show cracks. Homes are sitting longer. Price cuts are becoming more common. But don't mistake this for affordability returning. This is what happens when speculation meets reality. The damage to local communities has already been done. Moving to number 9, Utah. Salt Lake City hits you with an energy that's hard to ignore. Construction cranes dominate the skyline. New developments sprawl in every direction. There's a buzz in the air that screams growth and opportunity. Utah has been America's boom state for years, attracting businesses and families with its pro-growth policies and stunning natural beauty. But look west toward the Great Salt Lake, and you'll see the future staring back at you. What used to be a massive inland sea is now a shrinking bathtub, surrounded by miles of exposed lakebed that looks like the surface of Mars. The median home price in Salt Lake County hit $580,000 in 2025. In a state where tech companies and financial firms have created pockets of serious wealth that might seem reasonable to some buyers. But here's the terrifying part that makes Utah unique among expensive housing markets. As the Great Salt Lake continues to shrink, it's exposing decades of industrial contamination. Scientists warn that toxic dust storms containing arsenic and other heavy metals could become a regular occurrence. Imagine paying over $500,000 for your dream home, only to discover that letting your children play outside could be a health risk. Water restrictions are already a reality. The long-term sustainability of supporting a growing population in a desert ecosystem is questionable at best. You're not just buying into an expensive housing market. You're gambling on the environmental future of an entire region. Number 8, Arizona. Arizona greets you with a blast of heat that feels like opening an oven door. The Sonoran Desert is beautiful in its harsh, alien way. But Phoenix represents something almost defiant about human nature. It's a massive metropolitan area built in one of the most challenging environments on Earth, sustained by golf courses, swimming pools, and the collective belief that technology can overcome anything nature throws at us. For decades, Arizona was the retirement paradise. Affordable housing, beautiful weather, and a tax-friendly environment attracted retirees and snowbirds by the millions. But then institutional investors discovered Phoenix. Private equity firms and hedge funds saw opportunity in the post-financial crisis housing market and poured billions into single-family rentals. At the peak of this investor buying frenzy, nearly 1 out of every 3 home purchases in Phoenix was made by an investment firm. The result was predictable. Prices launched into orbit. The median home price in Maricopa County reached $475,000 by mid-2025, even after some cooling from previous highs. But here's what makes Arizona's housing market uniquely dangerous. You're not just buying a house. You're buying into a water crisis that gets worse every year. The Colorado River, which supplies much of Arizona's water, is in a state of permanent shortage. The state has already stopped approving new developments in areas that rely solely on groundwater because they've admitted there isn't enough water to support them. Think about that. You could pay nearly $500,000 for a home where the water supply isn't guaranteed for the life of your 30-year mortgage. And every summer, you'll pay astronomical electricity bills just to keep your house below 100 degrees for 5 months straight. Number 7. Texas. Everything really is bigger in Texas, including the financial traps waiting for unsuspecting homebuyers. Drive through Dallas, Houston, or Austin, and the scale is overwhelming. Massive highways, sprawling suburbs, and an energy that screams opportunity and growth. The big selling point everyone talks about is simple: no state income tax. It's the siren song that has attracted millions of Americans and thousands of companies to relocate here. And at first glance, the housing numbers seem reasonable. The statewide median hovers around $340,000, which looks like a bargain compared to the coastal markets we've been discussing. But here's where Texas pulls off the greatest shell game in American real estate. What they don't advertise on those "Welcome to Texas" billboards are the property taxes. Texas has some of the highest property tax rates in the entire nation. On that $340,000 home, you're paying an extra $500 to $600 every single month straight to the local tax authorities. That no-income tax benefit just evaporated. But the financial pain doesn't stop there. Texas has become an insurance nightmare. Between Gulf Coast hurricanes, North Texas hailstorms that can total your roof in minutes, and flash flooding that seems to appear from nowhere, insurance companies are either fleeing the state or jacking up rates to astronomical levels. Annual homeowners insurance premiums regularly exceed $4,000, and in high-risk areas, they can be double or triple that amount. Some major insurers have stopped writing new policies altogether, creating a market where coverage is becoming scarce and expensive. That affordable Texas home now comes with nearly $1,000 in monthly non-negotiable costs before you even factor in your mortgage payment. The Texas dream isn't free. You're just paying for it in a more painful, less transparent way. Number 6. Colorado. Colorado represents the ultimate lifestyle purchase. Drive into the Denver metro area with the Rocky Mountains rising in the distance, and you understand why people pay a premium to live here. This isn't just about housing. It's about access to world-class skiing, hiking, and a quality of life that feels almost European in its sophistication. The median home price in the Denver area sits around $600,000, and in the desirable foothills communities like Boulder or Jefferson County, you're easily looking at $750,000 or more. For many buyers, especially those relocating from even more expensive markets, these prices feel justifiable for the lifestyle Colorado offers. But Colorado has developed a problem that money can't solve. The same natural beauty that makes it so desirable has made it incredibly dangerous to insure. The Marshall Fire in 2021 changed everything. Over 1,000 suburban homes were destroyed in a matter of hours, proving that wildfire isn't just a remote wilderness problem anymore. Insurance companies responded with sophisticated risk mapping technology that has essentially redlined entire neighborhoods. Major insurers are either refusing to write new policies, declining renewals, or increasing premiums by 50, 100, or even 200%. Your $1 million Mountain View home is increasingly viewed as an unacceptable risk by the insurance industry. You're buying a premium asset that's becoming functionally uninsurable. The luxury isn't the granite countertops or the three-car garage. It's finding an insurance company willing to cover you when the inevitable next fire comes. We're halfway through our tour of America's most financially punishing housing markets. And if you think a Colorado wildfire risk is scary, wait until you see what's coming next. Number 5. New York. When people think of expensive New York real estate, they immediately picture Manhattan shoebox apartments with seven-figure price tags. But that's almost quaint compared to what's happening in the supposedly affordable suburbs north of the city. Drive through Westchester or Rockland County, and everything looks perfect. Stately colonial homes, manicured lawns, tree-lined streets that scream success and achievement. These are the communities that represent the classic American suburban dream. The median home price in Westchester County pushed $900,000 in 2025. But here's where New York pulls off perhaps the cruelest trick in American real estate. The purchase price is just the entry fee. The real cost comes in the form of property taxes that would make a medieval king blush. These New York suburbs consistently rank among the highest property tax jurisdictions in the entire country. On that $900,000 home, you're paying an additional $20,000 to $25,000 per year in property taxes. That's over $2,000 every single month, just for the privilege of living in the house you supposedly own. Think about that. You could pay off your mortgage entirely, burn the papers in a celebratory bonfire, and still owe the county a new car's worth of money every single year until you die or are forced to sell. It makes retirement planning a cruel joke. These aren't property taxes. This is a subscription service for living in your own home, and the price keeps going up every year. Number 4. Massachusetts. New England represents something special in American culture. History, tradition, and old money prestige that can't be replicated anywhere else. Drive through towns outside Boston, and you feel like you're touring a living museum. Colonial homes that date back centuries, charming town squares, and an atmosphere of quiet, understated wealth. This isn't just real estate. It's buying into a legacy. And legacies come with price tags that would shock royalty. The statewide median home price hit $720,000 in 2025. Let me repeat that. The median home, not a mansion in an exclusive Boston suburb, but the statistical middle point for the entire state, costs nearly $750,000. What you're witnessing is a market that has been strangled by decades of restrictive development policies. There is literally nothing to build on, and fierce local opposition to new construction has created a supply crisis that makes the housing shortage look intentional. The result is a game of musical chairs where an army of high-income buyers fight over a handful of available properties. Each chair costs $750,000, and if you're not already wealthy, you're not even invited to play. The property taxes, while not as extreme as New York, still represent thousands of dollars annually on these sky-high property values. Massachusetts has essentially decided that homeownership is reserved for the professional and managerial class. Everyone else can rent or leave. Number 3. Hawaii. Flying into Hawaii feels like entering a different universe. The air smells of salt and tropical flowers. The landscape is a stunning mix of volcanic peaks and turquoise water. This is the closest thing to paradise that exists in American real estate. And paradise has a price tag that defies economic logic. The median home price on Oahu reached $835,000 in 2025. We're not talking about beachfront mansions or luxury estates. This is the price of a regular 3-bedroom, 2-bath family home. It's not just expensive. It's a statistical absurdity that reveals how completely disconnected housing costs have become from local economic reality. But the home price is just the beginning of the financial assault. Because you're on an island chain in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, nearly everything has to be imported. Hawaii consistently ranks as having the highest cost of living in the United States. A gallon of milk costs $8. A dozen eggs runs $6. Gasoline prices make California look reasonable. You're paying Beverly Hills prices for housing and then paying a premium on every single item you need to live. This has created a two-tier society that resembles economic colonialism. Wealthy mainland buyers arrive with cash and equity from expensive markets, treating Hawaiian real estate like exotic souvenirs. Meanwhile, native Hawaiian families and long-term residents are being systematically priced out of their own homeland. Local teachers, firefighters, and nurses can't afford to live in the communities they serve. Multi-generational Hawaiian families are forced to leave islands their ancestors called home for centuries. The question becomes, is living in paradise worth it if you have to work multiple jobs just to afford groceries and can never hope to own a piece of it? Number 2, Florida. Florida hits you with immediate sensory overload. The thick, humid air, palm trees lining every boulevard, endless new construction and advertisements promising year-round vacation living. After touring the expensive markets up north, Florida's statewide median of around $410,000 looks almost reasonable. And that's exactly how Florida sets the most expensive trap in American real estate. The mortgage is just the cover charge. The real price of admission arrives once a year in a plain white envelope, and it's a bill that can single-handedly destroy your financial life. Florida's home insurance market isn't just broken. It's in a death spiral that gets worse every year. A relentless series of hurricanes, combined with rampant litigation and skyrocketing reinsurance costs, has sent major national insurers fleeing the state in droves. Those who remain are doubling and sometimes tripling premiums annually. That $5,000 insurance premium from 2 years ago is now $10,000. Your neighbor is paying $12,000. The family on the coast can't get coverage at any price. Millions of homeowners have been forced onto Citizens, the state-run insurer of last resort. It's become the largest property insurer in Florida, which should terrify anyone who understands insurance economics. Citizens is essentially a financial house of cards that one bad hurricane season could completely collapse. Your Florida home isn't an asset. It's a hostage. Every year, you wait to discover what the ransom will be. How do you build wealth on a foundation that could wash away, literally or financially, at any moment? And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Number 1, California. This is it. The final stop on our journey through America's most financially punishing housing markets. We've seen market manipulation, climate risks, and tax traps that would make a medieval lord jealous. But nothing prepares you for California. This is the state that perfected the art of turning the American dream into a dystopian nightmare. Drive through an average middle-class California neighborhood, and everything looks normal. The sun is shining. Palm trees sway in the breeze. Then you see it. A modest 1,200 square foot house that would be a starter home anywhere else in America, with a price tag that looks like a typo. $1.2 million. The California Association of Realtors confirmed that the statewide median home price reached $859,800 in 2025. That's not a market. That's a collective hallucination that somehow became legally binding. But California earns the top spot because it combines soul-crushing prices with every other nightmare we've encountered on this trip. The insurance crisis is here, but with a wildfire twist that makes Florida's hurricane problems look manageable. Following catastrophic fires that have destroyed entire communities, major insurers like State Farm and Allstate have publicly announced they're no longer writing new homeowner policies in California. Just like Florida, countless homeowners are being forced onto state-run insurance, praying that a single bad fire season doesn't bankrupt the entire system. You get the highest home prices in the nation, some of the highest income and gasoline taxes, and an insurance market in full panic mode. California has achieved the perfect storm of financial punishment. You're paying a premium for a lifestyle that now includes the very real risk of your home becoming uninsurable against acts of God. So there's our tour through financial hell. 10 states where the American dream of homeownership has been transformed into an exclusive club with membership fees that would bankrupt previous generations. The lesson is clear. The biggest risk isn't the mortgage payment you see advertised. It's all the hidden costs, insurance nightmares, and tax traps that they don't mention until after you've signed your life away. We're living through the greatest wealth transfer in modern history, and it's happening through housing markets that have completely disconnected from economic reality. The new American dream isn't about owning a home. It's about surviving the cost of trying to own one. What state do you think will be next to join this list of unaffordable nightmares? Drop your predictions in the comments below. And if this brutal honesty about American real estate opened your eyes to what's really happening, make sure to subscribe. Because the system is rigged, but knowledge is power. The question isn't whether you can afford to buy a home in these markets. The question is whether you can afford not to understand what's really happening to the American dream.